Good evening. I'm Maryam Amjadi, Black Mountain Institute's current City of Asylum Fellow. Thank you for attending this presentation, dialogue, and audience question and answer with Iranian writer and former City of Asylum Fellow, Moniro Ravanipour. Also, if you would like to move closer to the stage, that would be great. This event will be followed by a book sale and a signing here in the theater. Thanks for silencing your cell phones and other devices. Also, BMI is offering a rich program of events this spring, including Lines of Flight, a performance at the Summerlin Library on February 28. So please do check out the calendar at blackmountaininstitute.org. Before we begin, we need to thank BMI's generous donors, Beverly Rogers, Miriam Shearing, and the Rogers Foundation. This program is also supported by the World Languages and Cultures and English departments at UNLV. We thank them. At this time, we should acknowledge and honor that the University of Nevada is situated on the traditional homelands of the Nuvu, the Southern Paiute people. We give our thanks for the use of this land to the people who stewarded it for generations, for the opportunity to study, work, and learn in community. We encourage everyone to engage in continued learning about the indigenous people who work and live on this land since time immemorial, including the Las Vegas Paiute tribe and the Moapa Band of Paiutes. Thank you. Today's discussion will touch on the themes of trauma, death, and political violence, which may be difficult for some. Please feel free to step out if needed, and your well-being is important. Moniro Ravanipour is a leading voice in contemporary Persian literature, particularly renowned for her mastery of magical realism. Widely respected in Persian-speaking communities within and beyond Iran, her work weaves bold storytelling with incisive socio-political critique. She has authored 10 short story collections, 5 novels, 3 memoirs, and 2 poetry books. In addition, she has edited 5 anthologies showcasing the work of Koliha, a literary collective she founded in 1994. Koliha remains active today, connecting Persian-speaking writers across Iran and beyond. And that's not even counting her screenplays and the numerous children's books that she's authored. Moniro, as you once said, you have truly not wasted a second. Like many Iranian intellectuals, Ravanipour has endured censorship, expulsion from university, arrest, and imprisonment, with her books banned in Iran. Forced to leave her homeland, she settled in Las Vegas, where she has lived since 2007. Her work has been widely translated and acclaimed, earning her the Golshiri Award, which honors excellence in Persian fiction. She has also been a Brown University International Writers Project Fellow and a City of Asylum Fellow at the Black Mountain Institute, 2 distinguished programs dedicated to supporting writers facing censorship and political persecution. Tonight, we are gathered to discuss I Will Call You Once I Arrive in Kyiv, Ravanipour's 2023 publication, a book born from the heart of a tragedy. On January 8, 2020, Ukraine International Airlines Flight PS752 was shot down by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, killing all 176 passengers and crew. The fundamentalist regime initially denied responsibility, later admitting it was a missile strike, a so-called mistake amid escalating tensions with the US following the assassination of a top IRGC commander. The lack of accountability ignited public outrage, yet despite protests, justice remains elusive. 10 months later, several families of the victims turned to Ravanipour, seeking guidance in writing memoirs of their loved ones. Over the course of 8 online sessions, she mentored them in crafting their narratives, leading to the creation of I Will Call You Once I Arrive in Kyiv, a title drawn from the final messages many victims sent or spoke to their mothers before boarding the flight, expecting Kyiv to be just a layover. What makes this book remarkable is not merely its intimate portrayal of life in post-1979 Iran after the Islamic Revolution, but Ravanipour's extraordinary role in transforming non-writers into writers and grieving families once shattered by injustice and state impunity into warriors reclaiming their own stories. It is a work deeply engaged with historical consciousness in memoir writing, a testament to storytelling's transformative power to unravel the past and make sense of the present and future through the act of writing. As Ravanipour tells her students, your gown is caught in the folds of history. And with that, let's welcome Moniro Ravanipour to share the story of her book.
Thank you, Maryam. Hello, my friend. Before I begin, I want to thank BMI, Black Mountain Institute, and Colette. Thank you, Colette, for hosting this night. It is my honor to be here with you again. I arrive here to Las Vegas with my family, my son and my husband, 4th of July, 2007. It was Independence Day. People were celebrating 4th of July. That I didn't know anything about this holiday that time. The sky was full of colorful light, and my son, 10-year-old son, was watching fireworks. I felt like people are welcoming us. So I told my son, Reza, look, these people welcoming us. We will have a very beautiful life here, and you will be very successful. You will graduate from the UNLV, and I will write a lot of a story. I was here for 3 years in Black Mountain Institute. This is my office. Yeah, the last day. This is the last day. So after 3 years, I handed over my office and went home. 15 years later, this is my son, 28 years old, and now he's working for Meta. 2 months ago, he moved to Seattle. I am proud of him, and I love him. And now I am here before you tonight, and I want to talk about my life, my career since 15 years ago. I didn't know really, I didn't remember how many times government hacked me, hacked my Yahoo email, my website, my Facebook, my Instagram. I didn't remember. But I know that I am like a river. They couldn't stop me. And I didn't waste my time. I wrote, published 25 books. And one of them was bestseller in Amazon in foreigner language, poetry. And I thought I was coach, and more than 3,000 students joined me from different countries around the world. And I had a Koliha group, and I share my experience to many people, really. I had a book club that it has a huge effect on marketing, book marketing. And I was traveling around the world, signing book, reading a story. In European country, Canada, many different states here. During these 15 years, I was more active than those years that I was in my country. So tonight, I want to talk to you about the story of my memoirs. I will call you once I arrive in Kyiv. In Farsi, for Kyiv, we say Kyiv, because in Farsi, Kyiv means what? Back, So Kyiv is better for me, I can say it. But before that, as Maryam told you, there was a breaking news on January. Oh, this book has been translated by Professor Kanun Parvar. He worked in Texas University, and he translated for free. And all my classes was free. I didn't charge anybody. There was a breaking news on January 8, 2020. An Ukrainian airplane shot down by 2 missiles. But this breaking news was around the world, except inside the country, except my country, Iran. All passengers, 176 passengers, gone, and with plus an unborn child that she or he died too. So you didn't show the other slide, lady. Yeah, there is two other slides. Two other, okay. Okay, what did it start? Marsa is still my assistant, and those days she was my assistant, memoir writing in my memoir writing class, and she sent me a message from Manzar. Who is Manzar? This is Manzar. And what was her message? Hello, Mrs. Ravanipour. I am the mother of 4 victims of the Ukrainian airplane crash. My daughter Sahand love reading, writing, and your writing. We, the grieving mothers, are group that wants to write about our children. How can we join your online writing class, please? Or could you introduce someone in Iran? We are infinitely grateful. This is the picture before she lost her loved ones. Okay, and this is Manzar. Manzar lost her daughter, her grandchild, her son, and her daughter-in-law. Okay. My first reaction was, It was October 2020, and the world was grappling with COVID-19. My memoir writing classes were coming to an end. And, like other people, I was thinking about my life. And I started blaming myself. What did you do in your life? What is your masterpiece? Shame on you. Why did you spend so much time for others and you have a lot of unfinished story and novels and blah, blah. Okay. There was a voice here always. So I decided to cancel all my classes because I was scared. I thought, what would happen if I get COVID and I die? I think that was the question that everybody asked from herself. People that were old like me, 68 or 69. So, writing masterpiece. This voice didn't leave me. In my dream, days, nights, masterpiece, masterpiece, masterpiece. So I decided to really don't pay attention to their requests and say no. But I didn't say anything to Marsa, I didn't say that I don't want to have a class with them. I said, let me think about it. And when I told her that let me think about it, then I felt like a light was turned on in my mind. And I remember so many stories. So I remember how they attacked our family, how they executed my brother. And I remember how they didn't let us to bury my brother. I put her body on back of truck and tried to find a grave and bury him. We even went to many different villages that my father had family. They didn't let us to enter the village. Even one of them, believe me, one of them, before revolution, he came to our house and drink with my father. They were very close friends. And I saw such a brutality, and I didn't believe it. And even, believe me, I told to my cousin, who was fisherman, I say, Nasser, can we take our brother and leave it in the sea? And he say, no, God is everywhere. So they didn't let us to bury him. I don't remember what happened the night, but I remember tomorrow morning, my brother-in-law gave money to someone in the court, and then he wrote something, and they let us to bury him. Oh, I remember how they looted our house. Those that I knew them, and how they arrested me. Look, I didn't belong to any political group, but they asked me because they used to attack on people on the street randomly and took people, put them in the jail. So that day that they arrested me, they detained all those people who wear the glass, and that day I had a glass. That is it, as simple as it. So I remember I promised my mom I will help everybody regardless of my situation. And I remember how writing helped me, saved me. I never write for fame or money or whatever. It was, I was like a drowned person that I grabbed something, grabbed the pages of my stories and wanted to save myself. I was like this horse, burning, dancing in the fire, still living, still running. So I shouted and say to myself, to that voice, and say, shut up, bastard. You don't need to write masterpiece. This is your masterpiece. And I say, Marcel, let's do it. And I told her, I think they need coach rather than a teacher. So now I face another question. Can I use my own experiences? I want to read a paragraph from my book. What? How am I going to convey to these friends that each one of them is no longer one individual? In the 1980, imagining that my hands were not merely my own hands, but the hands of all those who were executed. And my eyes were not merely my eyes, but from then on I would look at the world through the eyes of my brother and the friends who had been executed. And the beating of my heart was no longer merely the beating of my own heart. In this manner, I was able to continue to stand on my own feet, and not only to live, but to work, to write, to narrate. I just want to help them, to put them out of their cave of depression, pain, suffering. And I ask my question, can I pull them out of the hell for 1 second per day? For 1 second. Second is very important in my life. I will let you know why. So I wanted them to forget why they have gathered around me, only for 1 second. And bring back them to normal life. I knew that it is very, very hard. But I say, okay, they need a coach. My coaching is based on 3 stories. You come to me, you have your story. With some question, I will find out my story, and both you and me go for the goal story. But in this case, there was only one story. Something happened to them. They lost a lot of things in their life in a second. And another problem was that it was the opposite of my belief, or my I am a follower of Khayyam, Iranian poet. And he say you can find beauty, love, and wisdom in second, in right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. But now I have to pull them out of this moment right now. I have to pull them out of the cave right now. They were burning right now. And you know, I am like someone that swimming against the waves of ocean, against my belief. Okay. I chose Alex as my assistant and asked them to create a Facebook page and choose a cover. He chose a cover that I changed it and I wrote it in the book why. And then start my coaching. I think. But before I tell about first session, I want to I want to show you this. This clothes is similar to the Bakhtiari traditional Bakhtiari tribe outfit. Inside coaching, the coaching like this, I can hold it. I can hold it. Okay. In coaching like this, we have to pay attention to our body language, to voice tone, and repetition of word and sentence. And thank you. And color of items around you and scene, and the color of your clothes. This is the shawl that I used in first session. Okay. And then I started my coaching. It was, I have to read a part of 21. I have to know them because they came from many different parts of the world and I didn't know them. You have to know your coachee, how you can change her behavior or her mind if you don't know her. I had wanted to finish and close down the memoir writing classes when you contacted me. Now, together we will start a new period of memoir writing. I would like each of you to say a couple of sentences about yourself. And then, on the Zoom screen, I look at the names at the bottom of their pictures and call on them one by one to introduce themselves. Okay? I have to know their beliefs. Are they religious? Uh, Are they are they leftist? And were they ready to change or what? But the first thing was obvious. They couldn't concentrate. It was obvious. And I knew that I was right. They need a coach. They couldn't. So at the first session, I didn't say anything about memoir writing. I say, you know what, my friend? From now on, every day, in a special place, choosing a special place in your house at a special time and start writing, sitting for 20 minutes and writing whatever you want. But if you can't writing for 20 minutes, okay, do it for 5 minutes. If you don't, for 3 minutes. If you can't, for 1 second. But you have to sit on the chair in a special place, a special time for 1 second. And And we had episodes of silence. Suddenly, class became very quiet. At the first, I thought that, okay, we had internet problem because some of them were living inside the country, but gradually I understood that they were crying quietly. In this time, Alex brought them back with singing. And then from session 1 to 8, they gradually join us and step by step start singing. All assignment that I gave them was designed to give them a sense of usefulness and being alive for 1 second, only 1 second. Okay, I have. Okay. Session 4, it was clear that they are ready to write their memoir. And I started being a memoir teacher, memoir writing teacher. So, and I asked them to write about those happy moments that they have had before this tragedy. When they were young, when they were child, before they married, and I told them, you know what? You are not poor. You have a lot of memory from your past that is full of happiness. This is your gold. Take care of this. So I promised them in this session, I promised them to publish their book, and they started being serious for writing and reading. And you know, I gave them a lot of assignment. Usually, the first thing that I ask my coach is taking a photo, because I want to follow follow them. I want to check them, and I gave them the exact time and exact place. I gave them the address. I asked them to take photo from leaves, different color, different size, and different places. And this is a part of those photos. And also, 2 or 3 times, I asked them to take a photo from a stone. But before I tell you anything about it, you know, the first thing that I asked them, I say, okay, get out of your house and your room, and please go to the backyard, front yard, and take a photo. One of them didn't go. She say, there is nothing in my front door. And I asked her to go and take a photo, please. She say, no, there is nothing. I say, okay, are you serious that there is nothing in the front door, front yard? She say, yes. I ask her, okay, please go and take a photo from nothing. And if you don't do it, I will kick you out of the class. And she went there. So I asked them to take a photo from this stone, different color, different time. I sent this group to the shores, that group to the street, to the park, different place. And this photo, I was shocked when I heard the story of this photo. And I thanks the universe for for this power that I had to change them. One of them was visiting her daughter graveyard, and suddenly she was, she had her cell phone, and suddenly she saw this photo and took that photo, took a picture from that stone. For a second, she forgot where is she and why she's there, and just she remembered the assignment that I gave them. And this moment I understood that is good. And I am going to get a result from this class. And I gave them many different assignments. Having bird, playing with bird, with animal, and take colorful photo from colorful things. Fruits, vegetable, coach, whatever, bike, bicycle. And this is another assignment. One day I asked them, do you have any clothes in closet that you don't want? And they raised their hand. I said, okay. Separate all of them. And whenever you are mad at yourself or you are not okay, start making a rainbow for me from those clothes. And I say, I want a rainbow. And they did it, and they took picture and they sent it to me. Okay. And cook the food they loved when they were young. That was a party, really. That was the last session, I think, last week. And I was far from my country, and they cook a very delicious food in their house and just took a picture and sent it to me without I can eat. So I just say, so, but the eighth session was very strange. They wore makeup, jewelry, earring, and they joke, laugh, and competitive in reading and writing, reading their memoir. And that was the day, a strange day, okay? I want really to read a part of this. The last memoir writing session was held on 13 December 2020, the day of the magnificent flight of the first American Airlines from the Pfizer centers to other states. The cargo of the airplane this time was not bombs, missiles, or weapons, but vaccines that could save the lives of thousands of people. It was a magnificent moment, the moment of human effort and struggle to protect life. On one hand, there are always those who strive for the betterment of human life, and the other side is the army of darkness and annihilation. In the course of history, mankind has faced those who have wanted life only for themselves and their tribe. Throughout all this time, my concentration and efforts have been anti-tribal, and I have frequently emphasized the classroom and everywhere else that our indifference will make the world a worse place. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you. Am I audible? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your work and for the dedication and the courage you've poured into this project. Speaking to this last slide, do things you haven't done. Moniro often says, and I'm quoting her, some people begin late. And she's a living proof of that. She wants us to know that she learned how to drive at 56, published her first poetry collection at 63, and then began writing poetry in English at 69. I'm very inspired by her. So now we understand the journey of the book and how it came together. But I'm curious, what gave you the strength to guide the grieving families into through this transformative journey and ultimately shape the project into what became? What gave you the strength?
Oh, thank you so much for this question. Your answer is not yes or no, okay? I have to explain it. I was born in a village, okay, south of Iran, near to Persian Gulf. We didn't have running water or electricity, but we had two gods, a god of sky and god of sea. The god of sky were very friendly. His name was Allah, okay? Can you believe it? So it was very friendly, very flexible. He didn't have any rule for punishing people. And he respected women, and he was responsible for rain. When we didn't have enough rain, he was very playful. And we thought that, okay, he's busy with an angel in some corner of universe, or he just fallen asleep, or he simply forgot us. Because of this, we dance and sung and go for asking him, telling him that we are thirsty and please, please, hear our voice and, send us water, send us rain. It was a ritual. Our ritual was dancing and singing for rain. In that day, we chose a beautiful lady, a beautiful young girl, too. So this is number one. Number two was the god of sea, that he was very brutal. He had a lot of rule for punishing people. Every other day he punished us. And we had another special ritual for him too. Lunar eclipse, he was responsible for darkness. And I remember the last time that I had a ritual with people in my village, we were standing on the shore and danced and sung and, hit on, we used crumpet as a drums, okay? I don't know why. But we asked him to please release the moon, let moon shine. We danced till morning when sun, okay, we saw the sun and then we go for sleep. And I always scared when we had ritual for Musalman. I scared that what if tomorrow doesn't come? But what if tomorrow doesn't come? My childhood, I learned from my childhood that when there is pain and suffering and misery, it is not necessary you will start crying. You have to fight not only with gun, you can fight with dancing and singing. You can fight with your ritual. I think it's trained me. Those days I train, and then I can do it. It was difficult, very difficult. But I thought that, okay, someone like the god of sea shut down the airplane. What should I do?
Hmm.
I have to have a class, my ritual, and I have to write the book, my ritual.
I've always been fascinated by the rich rituals and the folklore of southern Iran, which, of course, deeply shapes your work. You spoke about your relationship with God before and after the revolution, and I think that's a shift that speaks to the experiences of many Iranians post 1979. And that brings me to my next question. You have used very poetic terms for coach and client. In
Farsi.
yes, in Persian, the original Persian version of the book. So the word you use for coach is rahyab, which means pathfinder, and the word you use for the client is rahju, which means path seeker. So these are terms that are drawn from Iranian Sufi traditions where seeking, finding is central to growth. And it's also exemplified in the relationship that a Sufi, a peer, a spiritual guide has with the seeker. Do you think you were influenced by Sufism in your work?
Very clever.
So-
So, you know what? Oh my God. I haven't thought about it before. We are, we are the result of our poetry, literature, mythology, cultural, historical, and political movement. Okay? So there is a similarity, but differences are more greater and more important. No, we both use triangle. Coachee or seeker, coach or peer, and the goal. But but you know what? I am not religious. I am so sorry. I don't want to hurt anybody here. But I am not. Oh. And I am not looking for God. I am not, I don't want to discover a secret of existence, you know. And I believe that these five senses that we have is okay if we can use it correctly. Sufism taught that these five senses is not enough and they have to have third eye and sixth sense. No, I am not. And my goal is earthly life. This moment that we are living in. I am the follower of Khayyam, not Sufism. Or, you know, what else? Was it okay or not?
yes, of
Okay.
course.
So, you know, I don't want to talk about religion. It is, in this day, it is very dangerous. But I, I, I love those moments that is visible, touchable, and audible. And one more things, I like Hakim Omar Khayyam, Iranian poet. I see life as a garden, not as a prison. So we can enjoy this moment and many different flowers, the voice of birds, cats, animals, dust, stars, so much beauty, love, and wisdom in that this moment in our life. I don't want to go behind this life and looking for heaven. And I don't know what, I don't care what would happen for me if I die. Really. Okay?
I care.
Oh, really? Oh, no. I know you are Sufi. Yeah.
That's a striking distinction you make. The way you contrast Sufism's in your reading, Sufism's detachment with your own hands-on approach to coaching where you engage and you struggle alongside with your students. And that brings me to another key difference that you highlight in the book, and that is the distinction that you make between Iranian and American coaching styles, which led you to develop unique methods. Could you share what those
Oh my God.
differences are?
Look, this I wrote about it. You know, I wrote about motivational speaker, how motivational speaker in America, you know, empower people to get their goal, and in my country, empower people to go and kill themselves. Okay, this is difference. Look, here people have future. When you have future, you plan for it. I remember the first week that we arrived here, Richard Whaley invited us to his home. And my husband read the email and say, Moniro, I say, yeah. He invited us for September. We were in July. And I say, well, oh, definitely he made a mistake. And we were just talking about it. But he was American. That is it. We came from the part of the world that we don't have tomorrow. As you know, we are not sure about the next moment. Those passengers in Ukrainian airplane, they had their plan. They scheduled. They wanted to have a good life, huh?
Yes.
So what happened to them? They were not even involved in any political activity. What happened to them? So we don't have future. And another things, being a coach in Persian culture is very difficult. You know what? Because we don't have individuality. The tribal rule, you know, occupy everywhere. We are not, individuality is a crime. When you have individuality, then it is not necessary to hide yourself. But when you live in a tribe, you can't show yourself. You hide yourself. It's very difficult for me to find out the third story, the second story. Because most of my coaches hide themselves and blame others. Is it good?
Of course, yes.